Hello and welcome to Living Right with Chris. My name is Chris Iswekin. I'm super excited to welcome you to another episode in our weekly series. So this week we're considering a topic that says family and authority, parents, adults, and the struggle to be heard. And remember I said in our first episode of this month that the focus for this month will be on teenagers, right? That the teachings is relevant to all, but we focus first on the teenagers. So this month is dedicated to our teenagers, right? So these are ideas that would help teenagers navigate life or navigate teenhood, and also help parents to know how to, collaborate with their teenage children to help them navigate um, teenhood properly, right? Because this phase of their life is the defining moment of who they become, right? So it's a very critical stage of, or phase of their life. So we are trying to help in that regard. Authority is not designed to silence you. It is meant to shape, protect, and to prepare you. I'll say that again to the teenagers that authority is not designed to silence you. It is rather meant to shape you, to protect you, and to prepare you for the future. Now, I want to start by sharing some of the thoughts, first beginning from the teenagers. Now, why do things feel misunderstood? Why do you often feel, oh, they don't listen to me, they don't trust me, they decide for me whatever they want without explaining. They don't know what it's like to be in my age today and all of that. And then parents, on the other hand, why do parents often feel unseen by teenagers? Why do you have that fear of mistakes repeating themselves? Why do they fear responsibility of the outcomes of their children? Why do you have that pressure to protect, not just to please? Why do you have that love mixed with anxiety concerning their children? The fact is that misunderstanding usually comes from different fears, not different love levels. So we will see that the disconnect between parents and teenagers often lead to some of these feelings that the teenagers have. And that disconnect is actually fueled from the fears and trauma of parents. So sometimes because of the way you were parented as a parent, and or based on the things that you have seen, the outcome you have seen of people's life, you the tendency for you to parent with fear is there. But the only way you can, you know, live above the fear that limits you in parenting, that damage your relationship with your teen children, is knowledge. So you must seek knowledge on how to parent a teen child, because it is only knowledge that can, you know, deliver you or save you from the chaos of parenting a teenager. It is not as it usual or as it used to be. If you want to parent, I'm speaking to the parents now, if you want to parent the way you were parented, the things you must consider is first, the life that was available then is no more. We're in a different age entirely. And the 21st century teenager is not the teenager that you know you were at in your time, right? I think the truth is times have changed. Technology has actually double changed everything. So if you want to rely on, innate knowledge, oh, I don't have to learn parenting, then you'll be doing a disservice first to your child and then to yourself. Right? You see that generational gap is one of the issues that bring fear, to the heart of parents. Information is flying everywhere. Such information were not available to us in our times, right? But it's everywhere. Just with the click of a finger, they can get whatever they want to get. So you can see that you cannot properly lead a child because the child knows more. If the child knows more than you, then they're no longer a leader. What children need is not information, because information is everywhere. What they need is wisdom. The ability as a parent to distill all of the information that is flying everywhere, distill it through the lens of your family values, and then serve it as wisdom. to your children. Only on that note that you can actually lead them. Because even in technology, they're ahead of you. They are natives, and we are foreigners, we are alien to technology. So you can see that they have that advantage. But we have the advantage of time and of age. So we can help, go through all of the information flying around and then process it, bring out what is good, and then use it to train our children. And as we see that the systems that are not good, right, we use them to teach our children. That is where wisdom comes. And that is how we can, stay ahead of our game while parenting the teen child. And I want to talk about freedom versus responsibility because one of the needs of a teenager is freedom. The things that teens desire, one is independence. They desire choice, making their own choices. They desire privacy and they desire respect. However, authority, that's family authority, parental authority, or adults, what authority looks out for is responsibility, consistency, accountability, and maturity. So freedom grows where responsibility is proven. So as you desire freedom, you desire privacy, you desire respect, there are certain things that is required of you. And chief of them is responsibility. So if a teenager decides to be responsible for his action, responsible for himself or herself, responsible for the things that concern him or her, that teenager will be given the the independence that he or she deserves. So without responsibility, there is no independence. So as we crave for independence as teenagers, we crave for privacy, we crave for respect, we must, pay the price for all of this. And the price is responsibility. And this responsibility must be consistent. And then we must be accountable. Accountability shows how mature we are. Accountability means we we show, you know, ownership of the things that we do. We show ownership of the words that we say. We take responsibility for them. And that is the proof of maturity. Right? So I would also talk about the communication gap that exists between parents and their teen children. There are common communication breakdown. Things shut down when parents talk louder. Things hide when parents assume. So when we yell in form of discipline our children, we do not help them. In fact, they don't learn when we raise our voices. They shut down. They shut you out. They're not listening to any other thing you're saying. Teen, the teen children always want to have a conversation. So when things are not done right, call them and have a conversation with them. And then if there are consequences for whatever they have done, you let them understand that, oh, because of course that consequence should have been agreed. That's okay. When you do this, these are the consequences. If you do that, these are the consequences. So when a teen child now does something that is against your family norms, then you can have that conversation with the child that, oh, you have done this, but you know that you're not supposed to do this, and this is the consequence. So you set that consequence out of love, and that is what discipline is about. It's not about fighting the teen child. And I've seen where parents raise their voices and the teen, respond with a raised voice and, have an altercation with their parents, altercation of words, talking back because the parents have not been able to control their own emotion, to have conversations with their children. So when the parents yell, the teen shut down, they don't listen. When parents assume, instead of asking questions, they assume, oh, are you sure you're not doing this? Are you sure you're not doing that? Oh, these are your friends, they're not good people. You have not taken time to, you know, do your research of their friends, do your research of the things that they do before you assume. Because the point of accusation comes from assumption, right? So when you keep assuming about things, the teen child, the tendency for the teen child to hide, go into their shells is high. And then they don't have any form of relationship with you. And this relationship is what they need, right, to survive. All right. So also, teens react emotionally when parents respond harshly. What that means is that if a parent cannot control his or her emotion, then the teen, in return, will not be able to control his or her emotions because parenting is modeling. Children do more of what we do than what we say. So no matter how much you preach, when you cannot control emotions, the teen children cannot control their own emotions. So, what are some healthy emotional skills that we must learn? First, as parents, we must choose the right time to speak to our children. So, there is what to communicate, when to communicate, and how to communicate. When to communicate talks about choosing the right time. It is not at the point where emotions are high that you want to communicate with your teen child. No, you look for the right time. Also, as a parent, you speak respectfully to your children. You speak respectfully, right? Because respect begat respect. When you disrespect your child in words and all that, before long they begin to reflect it back to you, or should I say back at you, right? So we must learn also to use the I feel statement instead of you always. So when you want to correct a child, you always keep your room untidy. You're always dirty. When you say, "Oh, I feel that anytime I come to your room and it's not looking as it should, I feel it is not the best because you are royalty. I feel that this thing that you just said, I think is not who you are. Can you think about what you just said?" So these are ways we can correct our children without disrespecting them and without making them feel defensive. So when we accuse to say you always, or or we make statements of accusation, they naturally human will first of all put on the defensive. But when you come from the place of love, making it about you, the I statement, and then you have broken their defenses and they are more willing to listen and then to correct their actions. Also, we must learn as parents to listen without interrupting. When we bring up conversations or when our children come to us to have conversations with us, we should have the patience to listen. It is emotional intelligence. You listen. Active listening is the foundation of, of good communication or effective communication. Active listening is the foundation of effective communication. All right? So we must understand that your tone often matters more than the words that you use. How are you speaking to your children? And also the thing to learn that when we speak to our parents, we speak respectfully. We want to make some consents concerning what we think our parents are not doing right. We use the I statement. Oh, mommy, I feel that the way you talk to me, I feel it's demeaning, right? Oh, daddy, I I think that if I did this, if I done this way, or if I did this stuff this other way, I think it wouldn't have been the best. It would have ended this way and that way, right? So there are ways to put up response or have communications with your parents too that will don't look rude and disrespectful. All right. So you can be honest without being rude. That's the point. So the next thing I want to talk about is respecting authority without losing your voice. Respecting authority without losing your voice. There's this common fear among teens that deep down they say, if I obey, I will lose myself. But the truth is that respect doesn't mean silence. Submission doesn't mean stupidity. Obedience doesn't mean agreement to everything. You can disagree even with your parents and do it respectfully. To say, oh, daddy, I think this is a better way of doing this, or this is a better way of saying that. And then they will look at it. And if you're right, why not? For a parent who is knowledgeable enough would know that they're not infallible. We are all wonderfully flawed, right? So the show of infallibility is one of the killer of parenting. It's Yeah, you cannot be perfect. So when you think that something you have a superior idea about something, respectfully say it to your children. So respecting authority doesn't mean that you lose your voice. So speak up. It is not timidity. It's about respect, and that respect starts from self-respect, and then you extend it to others, especially adults, and more to your parents. All right. So what are the healthy balance? Because the truth is that if you obey, it's not the same as losing yourself. So how do you balance speaking up and silence? That you're speaking up and is seen as disrespect. So the way to balance it is that the healthy balance is that you express your opinions respectfully, and also you ask questions, not challenging authority. So when things are said, okay, by your parents or or people of authority over you, you don't challenge what they have said. You question, you ask genuine, sincere question with the mind to know, not with the mind to flaw the authority. No. When in the process of that conversation they find that they are wrong, they correct it, they apologize, and everybody learns. Right? So another healthy balance is that you know when to accept decisions. You know when decisions are made and sealed, and then you align. Right? So it takes wisdom to do that. So wisdom knows how to speak, and when to wait. That is wisdom. And teenagers, we must learn it. We must learn to know when to speak, how to speak, and when to wait. Right? So how do we handle as teenagers? Handle strict, absent, or difficult parents? So the reality check is this: that not all homes are ideal. Some parents are too strict. Some are emotionally unavailable. Some are totally absent or inconsistent, right? So the healthy response, you know, of teens to all of this is that first, you do not internalize blame. So whether irrespective of the family you're coming from, the blame of your family is not on you. Do not own it. That the parents didn't do well in certain areas, or they have made wrong decisions that affected their finances. Do not internalize it and have the mentality of being poor. No, it is not your problem because you have the potential to be whatever and whoever you want to be. Right? So do not internalize blame. Also, you must seek wise mentors. These are healthy response to our family dynamics. Right? We must seek healthy and wise mentors that can help us navigate life, irrespective of our parents. All right? And also, very important, we must guard our hearts against bitterness. Are you in it from a home that your parents are unavailable or they are just so reactive on everything? They yell and do all of that. Take away bitterness. Guard your heart against bitterness because what bitterness does is that it keeps you in a cell, locked in a prison of yourself. You are locked up. There is no growth. There is no movement. You're just stuck in one place because of bitterness. But when you let go and genuinely, forgive if your parents have wronged you, and then move on, look for how to learn to grow yourself. Learn from mentors, learn from peers, learn from books, from the internet, sieve out through all of this from the lens of a mentor, then you will grow and the height will be your starting point. Also, another way to respond to this in a healthy manner, respond to our family dynamics in a healthy manner, is to learn lessons without copying mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes. Learn the lesson, do not copy their mistakes. The truth is that you are not responsible for your parents' failure. Yes, you're not responsible for their failures, but you're responsible for how you respond to all of this things happening around you, including their failures. Right? You can turn it for your own good. Okay? All right. And then I want to talk about um, how you can heal from a broken home, a home that is dysfunctional, how you can heal and have a better life. The first thing is to understand that this is where you're coming from, but it doesn't define who you are. That understanding, first of all, make your mind open to learning other possibilities that are available. That the dysfunction in your family is not the norm. That you can have a better life even when your foundation is faulty. Also, you should, as a matter of urgency, begin to learn from other families that are, functioning optimally. You pick out lessons from them. Then you marry to where you're coming from. Then you know the things that you need to correct, so that you do not repeat all of the errors of your parents in your own home while you grow, while you even get married. Because we have seen that parenting is reflective. If you don't intentionally deal with the traumas of your childhood, you will see yourself playing the same script of your parents in your own parenting. So that is why healing must come. Another point in your healing journey is that you must speak out. Speak out. Talk about it. Talk to a professional. Talk to a mentor. Talk to people who can help you through your process of healing. All right? And the process of talking helps you ask the right questions. While you're asking the right questions, you are healing from that trauma of your upbringing, because you know the questions as they're being answered, they're dealing with some of the issues that you grew up with. All right. So teenagers, as I close, I want you to reflect on this. Ask yourself, how do I currently respond to authority? Do my actions build trust or break it? And am I listening as much as I want to be heard? You must ask yourself these questions this week. And then I want you to do this task. Choose one conversation this week and approach it calmly with your parents. I want you to look at a very deep conversation that has bothered you for a long time. You've been meaning to speak about, and you've not had the courage. Approach your parents and speak about it. But the rule is this: that you must approach that conversation calmly. You must listen fully before responding, and then you must speak respectfully, even if emotions are strong. So I'll leave you with this quote, that authority prepares you for the future, while rebellion delays it. Authority prepares you for the future, while rebellion delays that future. Thank you for being here with me. It's been a pleasure having you back to back each week. If you're new here, I want you to like this video, also subscribe to this channel. And if you've been following me and you've not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please do that today and invite your family and friends, invite your teenagers, invite your parents too, because together we can synergize and have better families, better relationships, better family dynamics that can produce children who are wholesome, and their benefits to society. I want to thank you for being here. Until next week, it is bye from me.